biggest mistake you'll ever make is teaching others how to live without you. Power dies the moment you're replaceable. In this video, we'll expose why independence is a lie and how the true rulers keep others clinging to them for survival. If you've ever felt used, forgotten, or pushed aside, it's because you didn't make yourself necessary. That ends today. Let me show you a truth that most men are too weak to accept. People don't follow the strongest man. They follow the one they cannot do without. In a world obsessed with independence, the real power lies not in standing alone, in making others incapable of standing without you. Dependence is control. And if you master this law, you will never beg for loyalty again. It will be forced upon you. Think back to every time you felt powerless. Every time someone left you, ignored your advice, replaced you. Why did it happen? It wasn't because they were disloyal. It was because they didn't need you. You were useful, temporarily. And when that use expired, so did their attachment to you. You must become the opposite of disposable. You must become irreplaceable. And you do that by planting needs so deep into their lives, they can't breathe without your presence. Consider the cunning leader, not the loud one, not the violent one, but the one who places himself between people and what they want. He doesn't demand obedience. He designs circumstances so that everyone must come to him for guidance, for resources, for security, for praise. He doesn't chase followers. He builds a system where followers chase him. That is the architecture of dependence. And this architecture becomes a throne. But understand, this is not about charity. You don't give blindly. You give strategically. Every favor, every solution, every piece of help must carry a thread that ties them back to you. Don't just be generous, be necessary. Be the one who makes others feel safe, seen, protected, empowered. But do it in a way that they associate that feeling with you. Because once you become the source of their stability, their mind links your presence to their peace, and your absence to their chaos. At that moment, you are no longer a person, you are a pillar, and pillars don't get replaced. Dependency is not only emotional, it's intellectual. If you give people clarity when they're confused, if you offer structure when their life is disorder, you become their compass. And a man without direction always returns to the one who shows him the way. So offer advice, yes, but not to empower them. Offer advice that builds reliance, guide them just enough to move forward, but never enough to go alone. Even in love, this principle rules. People think love is about constant giving. But the most addictive relationships are those where one person becomes the center of the other's emotional stability. They listen. They understand, they soothe. And the moment they step away, the other panics. Not because they are afraid to lose love, but because they are afraid to lose control of themselves. That's what happens when you become someone's psychological anchor. That's power they give you voluntarily. The same law applies in business, politics, family. If you control the bridge to something others value, money, peace, progress, status, they'll never cross without checking your permission first. Be the bridge. Be the connection. Never be the end point. If you are the means, not the end, then they always need you to get where they're going. Do not be fooled by temporary closeness. People admire strength, but they obey dependence. A man may praise you for your greatness today and betray you tomorrow if he no longer feels he needs you. But the man who knows his success is tied to your support will defend you, protect you, even serve you, not because he loves you, but because his future requires you. Now, how do you know if someone depends on you? Simple. Take a step back, remove yourself, delay your response. Withdraw your support for a moment. Their reaction will reveal everything. If they panic, if they chase, if they negotiate, that is dependence. If they grow stronger without you, you have failed to secure your power. That's when you go back, redesign the system, and reinforce the need. It's not about forcing anyone. It's about designing an ecosystem where you are the sun, and everything else revolves around you. It begins with the smallest interactions. You answer when others are confused. You calm when others are afraid. You provide when others are empty. You listen when others are unseen. Over time, this doesn't create loyalty, it creates need. And when someone needs you, even their pride will kneel. Never forget this. The people who appear the most confident are often the most desperate to be led. They just don't want to admit it. So become the one they trust when no one is watching, and they will return to you when the lights go out. Because deep down, everyone is looking for something to depend on. Something consistent, something solid, something they fear losing. Be that something, not by accident, by design. A prince does not arm his people with the same tools he uses to rule. A master does not give the apprentice the final formula. A true strategist knows, if you teach them everything, they will no longer need you. If you give full freedom, they will use it to walk away from you. Power is not in what you share, it is in what you withhold. And those who desire control must never teach full independence. Listen carefully. People say they want to grow, to be free, to stand on their own. But the moment they truly can, you become obsolete. Respect turns to rivalry. Gratitude turns to distance. The very people who once praised you will outgrow you, forget you, and if necessary, replace you. Why? Because you gave them all the tools. You made them capable without you. And that is the greatest sin a power holder can commit. You must understand your value comes not from how much you give, from what you keep. When someone comes to you for help, guidance, protection, or resources, never give them the full path. Give them enough to move forward. Always leave one piece missing. The piece only you can provide. That missing piece is what keeps them orbiting around your influence, keeps their confidence tied to your existence. Think like a chess player. Would a king teach his pawns how to become kings? Never. He uses them to win the game, ensures they rely on his vision. You must do the same. Offer insights, but not mastery. Offer strength, but not autonomy. Offer growth, but under your conditions. In doing so, you create the illusion of empowerment while ensuring dependency remains beneath the surface. And the brilliance lies in subtlety. You don't tell them they're not ready. You don't insult their intelligence. You flatter them. You praise their progress. You encourage their ambition. But you keep the lock on the final door. You remain the keeper of the last answer. You let them believe they're almost there, and in their pursuit of that last step, they will stay close, remain loyal, and come back to you over and over again. This tactic applies in every realm. In business, don't train employees to run the company without you. Train them to be excellent at their tasks, but never show them the full structure, the critical strategies, or the leverage points that only you hold. In relationships, don't show your entire emotional deck. Be open, be kind. But keep a part of yourself reserved. The mystery becomes your leverage. In mentorship, don't teach every step. Teach the first few steps well, and let them realize they still need you for the rest. Do you understand what this creates? A dynamic of pursuit. They chase you, not for your approval, but for the remaining piece. You become a magnet, not through force, through incompletion. Humans hate uncertainty. They crave resolution. When you give them 80%, they will remain loyal to you just to feel that sense of closure. You never give it. The moment they feel completely educated, emotionally fulfilled, or strategically self-reliant, they will drift. They will forget what brought them to you. It's not malice. It's human nature. Full independence breeds detachment. So if you want to remain relevant, if you want to remain powerful, you must become the architect of partial empowerment. And it doesn't make you cruel. It makes you strategic. You don't enslave them, you guide them, but within boundaries. You don't silence them. You give them voice, but only within your chorus. You don't deny them growth. You simply ensure that their growth never disconnects them from you. Because here's what most people don't understand. Those who seek to control by giving everything will lose everything. Generosity without restraint is a form of self-destruction. The wise understand that the true art of influence lies not in the amount you give, but in the precision of what you hold back. There is an elegance in partial revelation, a power in measured guidance. The ones who hold the key to power are never the loudest, never the most giving, never the most open. They are the ones who control the last chapter of the story, no matter who writes the beginning. You must design every interaction with this awareness. Every time you teach, ask yourself, am I giving knowledge, or am I surrendering power? Every time you help, ask, am I solving their problem, or eliminating their need for me? Every time you share, ask, does this make them stronger, or does it make me unnecessary? Because once you become unnecessary, no loyalty, no memory, no gratitude will protect you. You will fade into silence, remembered only as a stepping stone. But if you build the ladder and hold the final rung, they will never reach the top without your hand. And that is how a ruler remains untouchable. If you give people everything they want too quickly, they stop returning. They stop valuing your presence. The mistake most men make is trying to be endlessly available, endlessly helpful, believing this will earn them loyalty. But power is not built on generosity. It is built on absence. It is built on the space between desire and fulfillment. You must create strategic gaps, small, deliberate voids that force others to return to you, to wait for you, to wonder what you'll do next. You do not become powerful by answering every call. You become powerful by being the only one who can answer some of them. That is the difference. And when people begin to understand that you are the only gate to what they want, they will adjust their behavior. They will speak more carefully. They will respect your time. They will show loyalty, not because you demanded it, but because their access depends on it. Dependence isn't born in your presence, it is born in your controlled absence. People respect what they can't fully touch. They chase what's always just out of reach. You must be visible, never completely reachable. You must be helpful, but never consistently available. There has to be a gap, a delay, a pause. That pause is where the power lies. You must become a controlled supply in a world of unrestrained demand. What happens when a resource is limited? Its value increases. What happens when attention becomes rare? It becomes precious. Think about this: when everyone else is offering instant access, instant replies, endless openness, you do the opposite. You slow it down. You filter. You ration. Suddenly, you're no longer part of the noise. You're the exception. You're the one they wait for. Look at the systems of power all around you. The rulers, the elites, the architects of influence. They all have one thing in common: access to them is limited. Their attention is filtered. They are not sitting in the marketplace yelling their value. They are sitting in guarded rooms, deciding who gets in and who doesn't. Why? Because they understand that control is not just about presence. It's about scarcity. It's about placing yourself just far enough away that people have to reach for you, work for you, earn your next move. You can apply this with almost anyone: clients, friends, followers, partners, even rivals. You create an invisible toll gate. Every time they try to pass, they must pause. That pause is where your influence enters. It's not about manipulation. It's about setting boundaries that breed respect. People always know what to expect from you. They begin to treat you like a habit: predictable, comfortable, replaceable. But if you introduce uncertainty, a slight delay, a little friction, they will begin to rethink how they treat you. They will measure their words. They will wait for your reply. They will anticipate your approval. Even in conversation, the same principle applies. Don't rush to fill every silence. Let it stretch. Let them wonder what you're thinking. That pause makes your words heavier when they finally arrive. Strategic silence is more intimidating than constant speaking, and strategic absence is more powerful than constant presence. You create psychological terrain where they must cross the desert just to drink from your well, and that desert, the effort, the waiting, the not knowing, that is what makes them value the water. You should also know that when you create gaps, people begin to project onto them. They fill the silence with thoughts of you. They begin to build stories, assumptions, even admiration, all because you didn't give them everything. Mystery expands power. Ambiguity becomes a mirror where their own desires reflect back at them. And since you are the missing piece, they will shape their behavior around your presence, or more precisely, your partial presence. But it must be done deliberately, not in laziness, not in arrogance. In strategy, you show up when it counts. You provide value but not predictability. You offer access but not full entry. You stay near, not fully graspable. When people start to realize that your presence has a rhythm, that your availability is earned, not assumed, they will respect the game. They will return again and again. That's the formula. Be useful but incomplete. Be near but not fully available. Let them taste but not consume. When you design interactions this way, people begin to organize their actions around you. They begin to anticipate you, prepare for you, think of you. Even when you're gone, you're no longer just a person. You're a gap they want to close. And that desire becomes your power. Let me tell you something no one else will admit. People only realize your value when you disappear. When you're always present, always giving, always responding, your presence becomes background noise. Familiar, expected, eventually invisible. But the moment you step away, the air shifts. They notice the silence. The weight of your absence becomes louder than all your words ever were. And this is where power begins. Not in what you give, but in what you take away. Withdraw and you trigger addiction. You see, human nature craves certainty, routine, presence. We are wired to form emotional patterns around the people we trust. Same wiring betrays us. The more accessible you are, the more people adapt to your presence. They begin to assume it. Entitlement creeps in. Gratitude fades. Curiosity dies. And once they stop noticing you, they start replacing you. That's why the Machiavellian never offers endless availability. He offers moments, waves of presence, then a sudden retreat. And that retreat creates a vacuum. And that vacuum is where power multiplies. Why? Because withdrawal breaks pattern. It interrupts expectation. It shakes the emotional rhythm people have built around you and forces them to feel your absence. And that feeling is not casual. It's not mild. It's craving. Suddenly, they replay your words. They remember your touch, your advice, your support. Things they overlooked before now feel precious. And the irony is, you didn't change a thing. You simply left. The withdrawal revealed what consistency had hidden: your importance. This tactic isn't about ego, it's about positioning. If you want to become essential in someone's life, don't show up every time they call. Don't be the one who fixes every crack. Fix a few, then vanish. Let the next cracks appear without your help. Let them feel what it's like when you're not there to carry the weight. Let the silence whisper the question, "Where are you?" And when they ask it, they begin to fear the answer. That fear, that uncertainty, creates emotional gravity. Their minds begin orbiting around you, not because of what you're doing, but because of what you're not doing. You're no longer a person. You're a missing experience. And that experience becomes addictive. To build this addiction, you must be strategic. Your withdrawal only works if your presence held weight. You must first offer value, deep, rare value. Give insight others don't. Provide calm when others panic. Offer strength when others falter. Then vanish. And watch how they search for you and everyone else. Watch how they compare, how they reach out, how they wonder what they did wrong. And here is where your influence sharpens when they come back. You control the terms. Now they're not just reaching out for help, they're seeking reassurance, seeking reconnection. You don't have to punish them. Your silence already did. Now, you are the reward. Now you decide how close they get, how fast, how deep. This cycle, presence, value, retreat, creates emotional conditioning. It teaches people to associate you with relief, with clarity, with strength. And when that presence is suddenly gone, they feel it's lost, like oxygen escaping the room. You don't even have to speak. They already feel the lesson. You became a pattern in their life, and then you interrupted it. Think of the greatest leaders, the most desired lovers, the most respected mentors. None of them were constantly available. They moved on their own time. They let people miss them. They let their absence carry weight. And because of that, people respected them more, wanted them more, feared their disapproval, longed for their return, not because they begged for attention, but because they controlled it. And here's the paradox you must master. Consistency makes people feel safe, but intermittence makes people feel addicted. It's not the regular presence that hooks people. It's the tension between presence and absence. The uncertainty of when you'll appear again, the inconsistency that makes them chase. That's the core of psychological influence. Predictable things are taken for granted. Mysterious things are pursued. So when you feel like you're giving too much, stop. Not because you're tired, but because they need to feel the absence. When they think you'll always be there, disappear, not to punish, but to shift the power. Every withdrawal is a reset, every silence a reminder, every pause a trigger for obsession. People don't get addicted to what they have. They get addicted to what they almost have, what they had and lost, what they want back. Your job is to become that feeling, not a constant presence, but a remembered absence, an echo in the mind, a space they want to fill. Not because you demand it, but because their own emotions beg for it. You have now seen the architecture of true power, not the power of loud voices or empty promises, but the subtle, silent kind that makes people orbit around you without knowing why. When you make others dependent on you, you don't need to chase loyalty. You become the reason they survive, the source of their clarity, the bridge to their ambitions. Never teach full freedom. Let them grow, but always return to you for the final key. Build strategic gaps, deliberate absences that make your presence feel like a reward. And then, when the time is right, withdraw. Not to punish, but to addict. Let them feel what it means to go without you. You are no longer just a person. You are a need. A presence that lingers even when you're not there. That is the essence of power. Not to dominate with force, but to design the world so that others can't breathe without your permission. This is the game Machiavelli mastered, not through cruelty, but through control. Not through chaos, but through necessity. The moment you become necessary is the moment you win.